You got to force the issue with transition. We didn't do a great job of executing when we had transition opportunities, but it came down to our ability to execute at the end of the game, much like it was when we were in Houston.
You say they're a tougher team right now. What do you have to do to address that?
We got to stop turning the ball over, and we got to make free throws.
Just in these close games, that's something that's been a theme throughout the season. What are you seeing, just the execution specifically on the offensive end that's kind of hurting you guys right now?
The biggest thing is the turnovers. The last 3 minutes of the game, I believe we had 3 turnovers. Zion dribbles one off his foot. Pass to JRE, CJ passes Zion. And, the same thing I told our guys. I'm not saying anything different in here. We watched it today. We looked at our clutch time execution, and we're 30th in taking care of the basketball. And that has to be better. And tonight was much of the same. Until we learn that, it's going to be tough for us to win these games.
I mean, that Rockets team, I think they're second in defensive rating. Just in that overall in that game, just what made it difficult for y'all to catch a rhythm offensively?
Like you said, they're a good defensive team. So they're going to have their hands on you. They can switch. They got, like-sized guys on the floor that can red screens, switch screens. And so it comes down to executing with force, with patience, making sure you set screens, dive, and getting a quality look every time down the floor. That's how you're able to go down the stretch and beat a team like that.
Willie, your 3, most perimeter-oriented best players on the court, B.I., CJ, and Trey, couldn't get anything going. I think they combined for 33 shot attempts.
Yeah.
Is Houston the most difficult opponent to where they really just take away those type of guys for you?
I don't know if they're the most difficult opponent, but they present challenges for sure with their defense. And, you got Brooks and Smith and all those guys. Give them credit. Like I don't want to continue to go down a list, but give them credit. They did what they needed to do to win. They were a more physical team. In my opinion, they were more mentally tough down the stretch. And our guys, this is a growth moment for us. We have to learn from this. We will learn from this. We'll continue to get better. And at the same time, we have to be honest about where we are. We got to take care of the ball, and we have to make free throws down the stretch of games.
Coach, you said at clutch time y'all are last in taking care of the ball, but also last in three-point percentages. You were over 3 over the last 6 minutes. 2 of those went from JRE. You talk about lack of execution, but is it somewhat maybe what they're trying to execute there in the end? They're still trying to get comfortable, perhaps?
Maybe just a little bit, but the biggest thing for us is if you get an open shot, if we generate open threes, we want to take those for sure. But we're not getting the quality looks that we need, and a lot of it is because of the turnovers.
Gotcha. And touch on Graf, it's tough there in the end to, I guess, get the team going. You pulled CJ, BI, and Zion off, I think, earlier in the third quarter. Was there something you mentioned to them in that moment when y'all still in the game? There's still a lot of game to be played, so the urgency wasn't there. But you pulled all 3 on the side, right there in the middle of the court. Is there something you were giving them there?
I probably was. I don't remember what I was saying at that moment, though.
Coach, you talked about the physicality and how you guys were out physical. Alfred Shingu, it seems to have embodied that tonight. What was he doing to be so effective against your defense?
He just kicked our butts, to be honest with you. He's 17 free throws, so his gamesmanship is off the charts. You throw it to him in the post, and he makes solid plays. He just makes a simple play. He's a great passer. He has that spin move where if you're not careful, he can spin. And he took over in the fourth quarter. They played through him. We didn't have a great answer for him. But like I said, these are moments where we have to feel it. We have to be honest with each other, and we'll improve and get better.
Coach, Herb didn't see any time in the fourth quarter. Was there something that you saw in the matchup that you didn't think he'd be effective in, or just going to something different there without him on the court?
We liked the group that we had on the floor. Tried to go a bit bigger with against Shingun with JRE, especially with Jonas being in foul trouble. Trying to have spacing on the floor for Z, BI with Trey and CJ. So that was the thought behind it. Thank you.
All right. For all things Pelicans, now tuned into the Pelican Postgame Report. Much love to the fan. Appreciate y'all for joining us in this episode of the Pelican Postgame Report. entitled "The Pelicans." Man, listen, they fall apart late to the late in a loss to the Rockets, 106-104. Coach Willie Green, once again, some stuff. And it's a lot of stuff going on, man. It's a lot to talk about on this episode of the Pelican Postgame Report. So please feel free to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. By all means, feel free to share the show on your social media feed. We in this thing, man. I'm Big Q. I got my family members, DC and Lex, are going to chime in, man, and we're going to hear from them guys and see how do they feel about the Pelicans losing a very winnable game. It just fell apart in this one, man, toward the back end of the game. Turnovers, just crazy. No fast break points tonight. 69% from the foul line. You pick your decision on wherever you want to start at, family. We're gonna go with DC first, and Lexxah chime in, and y'all give me y'all thoughts on what y'all think happened here.
I actually would like to recede my first ballot to Lex. This is an excellent game to hear what she got to say.
Oh, okay. Well, let me start off with this. The Pels are 0-5 when it's less the points is less than 3, and they are like 4-13 when the game is determined by five or less points. So this team is horrible in the clutch. That's what that means. Under pressure, extreme pressure, when the game is close, this team does not perform well. So I just wanted to point that out. The other thing, as soon as this game started, the rhythm of this game was just not there. The spacing was bad throughout the whole game. They may have had some good spacing in some areas throughout the game, but as far as collectively, the spacing was bad. Which obviously turnovers. How many turnovers did they have? Yeah, they had 16.
16.
Usually it's less than that, because we've actually been improving on not turning the ball over. But in this game, the game was slow. It was very slow. I was trying to figure out why we were moving so slow out there. But as far as getting up and down, that's why we couldn't get into transition, because it was moving so slow. They need to speed the game up. I think the Rockets purposely, slowed the game down because they are a good defensive team. One thing that I really didn't care for, which I think it's pretty simple. Who is hot for the Rockets?
Şengün.
And who did they keep going to?
Şengün.
Who is hot for the Pelicans?
Crickets. Zion for most of them.
And who do we keep going to? Exactly. Exactly. They did not have an answer for Zion, but we did not keep going to him. But you know what? They kept going to Şengün. Even when Jonas was out there on him, they kept going to him. They kept going to him. And see, the thing is like, if something is working, why do we work so hard going away from that? It doesn't make sense. Like, this game doesn't have to be hard. The Pelicans make the game hard. Just like all of a sudden, the last 3 minutes of the game, nobody could make a good pass. Nobody could catch the ball. These are basic fundamentals, people. Basic fundamentals. They couldn't do basic things. Like, no one knew where to go. And it's like, okay, Willie Green, you called 2 timeouts around that time, within maybe at the 5-minute mark, 3-minute mark. Maybe Houston called it. I don't care. The thing is, the timeout was called. Why didn't you set up a play? What was the play? What was the play? Like, why do you have, coming out of the timeout, Why do you have Zion coming up to get the ball, swinging it over to Brandon? And I know Brandon makes tough shots, but we were only down like what, 1 point or 2 points? We could have got an easier basket than what he shot. He took a very tough shot, and we could have got an easier basket. I mean, that was very well contested, but I don't know, like we don't do well in the clutch. We don't do well in the clutch, man. I mean, we got to do something about that. I mean, those numbers that I just gave you all, that's bad. 0-5, if the game is determined by 3 or less points, and what, 4-13. We panic. They panicked out there. And, I don't think I'm trying to figure out, the plays that were drawn up. I think I saw one good play that was drawn up. And it was like a screen and a flare from Trey. A
Oh, yeah,
screen.
you talking about that 3-pointer, yeah.
Yeah. That was a very nice play coming out of a timeout. I was like, wow, there was some creativity there. Can we get more of stuff like that? I mean, so we know stuff like that is there, but I don't know, man. I mean, that's basically all I got. This team does not do well under pressure. So
Well, definitely understand that, and I think a lot of what you're saying, and you putting a lot of it on Willie. And I knew you were gonna point all that out, so now we got that out the way. I also think a lot of this is on the players, like missing free throws. And on Willie, we needed a few of those down the stretch, man. Also, Zion, man, Zion drives, his shoe comes off, and instead of continuing to play to help stop the fast break, he stops and gets his shoe with 40-something seconds left in the game. I ain't feeling that one. So they're not being put in the best positions to win. I've seen so many times when things was going on, I'm like, Willie, call a timeout. Call a timeout and draw up a play. Nope. But also, I've seen a lot of players doing bonehead stuff and just looking discombobulated all night. We needed a spark. You had Trey out there, but for some reason, which is weird to me, for large stretches of the game, Trey they wasn't even looking for him. Zion had it going, like you said, and it did feed him at times, so they went away from that. They never really got BI settled in or comfortable, got him going. CJ was pretty much off all night. JV was getting in foul trouble. It just was so many errors throughout this whole game, not just the last 4 minutes or so. But, Houston is a very good defensive team. So I didn't expect the Pels to come in here and put up 130, because this is a team that plays fundamental defense, and they do it well. Even though they don't have a good rim protector, they somehow manage to make it tough on teams they play. But there's no excuse for us allowing Şengün to get 37 points, man. That I couldn't even believe it too
well,
at the end of the
he
game.
got a
I was
lot of
like,
calls
wow.
too that we weren't.
Yeah.
I mean, and I know that's like that all the time, but that dude was getting a lot of calls. A lot of things were one-sided. I'm like, okay, can we get that on this end too?
No, and that's the thing, Lex. We got to understand that we can't look for the refs to bail us out. We got to know what time it is.
Well, it's not bailing; it's calling the game.
It is calling the
You
game.
know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I don't want nothing free. I don't want you to give me anything. Like, your job is to call the game.
Well, if they don't want to call it, and they don't want to call it fairly, what do you do? Or what do you think the best teams would do?
Shoot, go off and get a technical.
We got two. That didn't help.
Well,
Najee,
no, that
Najee
was
and Jose got text, and Jabari Smith clearly pushed the ball into Jose's chest and then threw it at him. He didn't
yeah,
give tech,
and I
so
thought that was off too. Like
that
I was
was
like,
off.
what
They had
happened
an over
on
and
this
back that
play?
they don't call on them. Everything was favoring them tonight with the refs. But my thing is, you're absolutely right on us not getting the calls. But I'm sick of this shit. So it's like, okay, they're not gonna call the game fair. We're good enough, man. Go out there and ball out. Fuck the refs. If you doing what you're supposed to do, the refs won't be able to command the game. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
Are we better than this Rockets team?
yeah. I
We're
mean,
better than them, right?
shoot, lost by 2. I mean,
Right.
this
We
this
lost
game
by two, but
could have been either way, but yeah, there was opportunities for us to win this game. We should have won this game, just like we should have won the Memphis game.
right. But my thing is, if the refs ain't gonna call it fair, we're a good enough team to where it's like you can still win anyway. Play with that mindset that the refs ain't gonna call it instead of worrying about it or we moping every time. I mean, sometimes you got to play through it. Other games are worse than others, but we can't. The amount of mistakes I saw us making tonight, and just how lackadaisical and loose we are, it doesn't strike me as a team that understands the ref ain't gonna give you calls. You know what I'm saying? Like if they're gonna do that and you got some pride about yourself, you're supposed to be working like hell to prove them wrong or to make them make the call. Just we don't have enough of what Willie call it force. We don't play with force.
Oh, stop
And
it. I
we
know you
obviously
started
didn't play
doing that
with
Stan
pace.
Van Gundy voice with that. Here, say it in your Stan Van Gundy voice.
We gotta play with force.
You ain't lying.
And we are a team that plays faster than Houston. They have the worst pace in the league. Why are we playing slow?
Yo, stop doing that, bro. That's like,
He does it so well.
oh, that's so awful.
And then you have the Shangoon kid gets
That's-
37 freaking points. You
Dude,
gotta get
like-
back and build a fucking wall.
That's like fingernails on the chalkboard to me to hear that.
I know
Really.
you love it, Q.
Do it in your Griff voice. And I got another one for you, Big Q. Here, do it in your Gentry voice.
Oh Lord, the Q got that one.
I, this,
I'm sorry.
I know this is.
Uh,
I listen, fam. I don't know what to say about this one here. Lex, I agree with you. The pace was definitely off. It favored the Rockets. The calls were definitely ridiculous. And the thing, I'm a traditional minded person when it comes down to this type of stuff, and I always look at the fundamentals. And what could we? Because a lot of the stuff dealing with the refs, we can't control entirely. But what we can control is what we do once we get an opportunity to get to the foul line. And we had 30 attempts down there. I think we missed 10 shots. We finished with 69%. And Zion was 5 of 10 from the foul line. So he was able to get to the foul line. They hacked him up several times. They gave him 10 attempts. He hit 5 of 10 from the foul line. The Pelicans lost by 2 points. So, I mean, we can look at the scheme, and you guys are both right. I just think at the end of the day, they're supposed to be able to do a better job of controlling this, man. Just making sure they do the stuff that really matters, hit the foul shots. And that's the stuff to me that helps us do what we need to do to kind of win this damn game. Hold on, let me give a shout out to Nola Danky. What's up, bro? Shout out to you. Says bad loss. Appreciate the super chat, brother. Much love to you. Appreciate you. Yeah, this is a tough one, man.
Been a while.
Shout out to Nola Danky, man. Good to see you, brother. Appreciate
Molly
this.
said we lost because we ain't play with enough compassion.
That is true. I agree with that. Yeah, not enough compassion, not enough intelligence, not enough a lot of stuff, to be honest with you. Definitely not enough edge.
Wait, who are we supposed to have this compassion towards is what I've been trying to figure out.
you know what,
Who are we
man?
being compassionate
Hey,
towards?
and this is why, look, and I keep going back to this. I'm sorry, because it does bother me. But the thing is, what did Willie say in his presser? He said we have to be mentally tougher. That just goes to show that this team, like Draymond said, unfortunately, This team isn't built like that. That's why we got so much work to do, man.
So
If
Lex,
if we can't show toughness down the stretch in close games and close these games out, because this is what we're going to be running into. Not every game is going to be a blowout. Some of these games are going to be close. No, both teams are going to be playing their hearts out, are going to be going at it. And the thing is, that's what, hopefully we make the playoffs and everything. I mean, that's the goal. But in the playoffs, that's what we're going to be going up against. Close games. And looking at the what do you call it? How many wins or losses and wins we have as far as with close games, it's very lopsided. Very lopsided. Man, we got to fix this, man, because, man, you all saw this. I mean, they looked awful down the stretch. I mean, it's like,
it looked bad this whole game to me, to be honest.
I mean, but that last
Everything
stretch
looked
was even
looked
more
hard.
awful.
Yeah, that was that was pretty bad, Lex.
I mean, the closing, it's like, that's when you're supposed to know. That's how you know we're not solidified in our identity. That's how you know that. Look, Houston knew who they were. They knew exactly what they were going to do. They were confident in what they were going to do. They were confident in the plan, and they executed. And this team, it's like it wasn't there. It wasn't there. They were playing tight. You know what I'm saying? It seemed like they were. It's almost like a panic mode. Brandon got the ball. Look, 28 seconds. Too much time went off the clock. Too much time.
That was crazy.
You see what I'm saying? Like that can't happen. How many vets do we have on this team? These aren't just brand new players. We didn't have rookies out there. Look, CJ, he was the oldest one out there. He was panicking.
He was messing up a lot.
Yeah. Like someone at his caliber was panicking out there. Man, stuff like that just cannot happen. I don't know what was going on through their minds, but they look like, they just started going 100 miles per hour or 120, I don't know, something. But, they couldn't slow down enough, be like, hey, let's think through this game. Let's get to our spots and let's run something and get this basket. But whatever we do, we gotta be, efficient about it. We got to move with a purpose. But they were just running around like chickens with their head cut off.
Yeah, I agree with you, Lex. I mean, everything you said is absolutely true.
I got one question for Lex. You make a lot of excellent points, and I hear your frustration.
I'm frustrated.
I hear your passion and compassion. What do you want me to call
don't
it?
say
I hear your mindfulness.
Don't.
I can't quite call it joy.
And yeah,
but I hear your mindfulness.
I don't hear no damn joy in DC. So.
You should say that.
What do you think we should do to become more mentally tough? That's all. That's the only point I was think you need to drop. What you think we should do to become more mentally tough, and then we go ahead and move on.
I think for one, you need someone in the locker room that has that type of personality. That just, I think that's the biggest thing. I'm looking at the personalities and the characters.
Head coach, Lex, you mentioned head coach. Is that what you mentioned that at the head coach level, or you mean players are?
No, just a player. A player that just doesn't give a, you know what I'm saying? Like that type of personality.
So
like they got to
Najee Marshalls?
Maybe a little bit more than Najee. But, just like a lot of the personalities on this team, I don't know if you all notice, are very laid back, very peaceful. You know what I'm saying? They go out there.
I think I see that.
Yeah. The personalities on this team are very smooth, cool. You know what I'm saying? Non-confrontational.
Compassionate.
Yeah. What did you say?
Joyful.
Compassionate, mindful.
And joyful.
Joyous.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
They all have that same personality, but there's no, where's the opposite of that? Who's that person who's gonna throw a chair like Bobby Knight? You know what I'm saying? Who's gonna, like, you know what I'm saying? Who's really about that life? That's why I actually liked what his name? James Johnson, the black belt dude. Everybody know he a black belt. Wasn't nobody trying to mess with that dude.
Yeah, I liked him too. I don't think we should have let him go.
Yeah, you
He's a
know what I'm
free
saying?
agent. DC.
Like
He's a free agent.
they say that
You don't
about
think
him
he'd have
every
came back
time.
for a certain amount of money?
No, he's
I
on.
don't think we extended him a contract. I don't
No,
really
we
think
didn't,
we anticipated on
because
keeping him.
they didn't want to pay him what he went for the next contract for. They thought that what he was asking for was too expensive. Well, go ahead, Lex. What you finish your point, sweetheart?
But yeah, I just think that's the first thing. Is that'll help really build the toughness, like in practice and different things. But I think ain't nobody really trying to ruffle any feathers. They're not trying to do all that. Henceforth, that's why you have that stuff,
Pun
in
intended.
the gym on mindfulness, joy. That's not, you need war terms. You need like fighting terms, like things that, hey man, like argumentative words, things like that, things that don't make people comfortable. And this team, they don't want confrontation. Again, I mean, Draymond said it. This team ain't built like that. That's what he was talking about. And he had a point. That's why I keep mentioning it. It bothers me, but I mean, I'm not, so, like, as far as, we know the truth about the team, man. We know the truth about this team. Just like Willie said, we got to be honest with ourselves. And he has a point. This team is not built like that for a reason. And we need to get a personality in the locker room, on that floor, that, hey, man, like, you come up to me or do anything, you got a problem. I mean, if you look at a lot of, like, especially the championship caliber teams, what did they have on their team?
They had a crazy guy, Dennis
They
Rodman.
so did.
They had somebody that was going to fight. And that
Yeah.
was,
We got that, and Najee is that guy, but maybe we need another one. But Najee is definitely. I haven't seen him back down.
No, he doesn't back down, but it's gotta be more.
Yeah.
I've been calling him Najee with the black forces for the longest. He ain't backing down. He is the crazy guy that would fight.
He's still like a cool guy, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's still pretty calm. Like, I don't know, man. It's just they just gotta be. I don't know. I don't even know if these guys have ever been upset or mad or really pissed off at anybody. Because I don't get those vibes from these dudes, man. I really don't.
Well, they got
like before.
They got plenty of time right now to be mad and pissed off after this loss. So I mean, they're probably pretty peeved about it right now. But this is the thing. This team, like we mentioned before, they have not been battle tested, and that speaks to what Draymond Green's prophecy was, that you guys not built like that. We can see the difference between a contender and a pretender, and you can't escape the school. You got to go through the training. You got to go through what galvanizes good teams into a force, and it usually takes all type of heat. It takes obstructions. It takes obstacles that they have to overcome as a team, and this is the process. Now, we've been dealing with this for a while now, since this team has been assembled. Injuries, unfortunately, have been a part of this stuff, and now they're on the back of this timeline where they have to gel together quite fast, very quickly. So, I mean, losses like this is problems, but it does expose a lot of the errors and what the Pelicans need to do to fix. The only question in my head is, do they see them, and do they make the adjustments and get it corrected and move forward? Is there any resolution? Is there any solution? And that's the big thing with me, because I know they're going to trip and fall down on some nights, but do they then pick themselves up? Do they learn, and do they improve? That's my thought process. We're going to fall down, but do we get up and make the business and solve what we need to solve to keep this thing going and getting on the right track. That's what I want to see. That's what I'm looking at. So anyway, let's a couple of statistics to be aware of in this game here. And I'm not going to go over all of them from a team perspective, but some of the ones I thought were very fascinating for the Pelicans matchup tonight. They were 8 of 31 from downtown for less than just averaged up about 26%. Foul line shots.
Small asterisk Q. They actually put this up during the game. The Pelicans on the season are 1-6 when they hit 8 3-pointers or less. Well, actually 1-7 now. So when they hit 9 or more free throws, we're 14-4. Just want to point that out.
So if they hit 9, 8 or less is what 1 and what DC 1-7?
1-7. So we never win if we only hit 8 3-pointers or less. If we hit 9 3-pointers or more, we're 14-4, brother.
Boy, one 3-pointer, one 3-pointer damn sure would have made a difference tonight. Let me tell you something.
What's the score?
106 to 104, sir.
So that would have put us at 107.
Yeah, I think we could have got that from Jordan Hawkins. What y'all think, man? What y'all think? We could have got one.
Well, I don't know because the spacing was so bad.
This is yeah. We'll never find out, man, because Jayhawk never got up off the bench unless it was to help cheer on other people and to chew the hell out some gum. That's all I know. 20 of 29 from the free throw.
He got up off his feet when BI dunked on Jabari.
He did. He's a fantastic cheerleader, man. You got several guys.
All
of them are C. Brian, Kyra, all of them are doing fantastic cheerleading over there. Let me tell you something, man. Because he's not allowed to do anything else. 20 of 29.
Did you say Kyra?
Kyra was sitting down on the
Kyra
bench.
was out there.
He's the mascot.
Oh wow,
the mascot.
Oh, wow.
And I don't even know why he happy and stuff because I saw him laughing with somebody. And I'm like, dude, you don't need to be laughing. You need to understand that somebody done took your spot. And you are sitting over here warming up this bench, keeping it nice and warm for when the players come back.
Lex, don't you know that he was schooled by Deontay? He was schooled by Dante Graham. When Graham came here,
Devontae,
he did the same thing. Graham just kind of showed him, listen, brother, you get, you in the NBA, man. Graham kind of passed his job right on to Jose Alvarado.
Minus that fat contract.
Minus the fat contract. That's true. He did get the fat contract from us. That's probably the last one he'll get. But Ira does have a high ceiling. Somebody gonna get him, and
a high ceiling. Where's it at?
We can't see it because we
in the rafters, Lex. You can't see it.
We won't develop them. We won't say. I mean, anytime you got.
Does he want to be a star in the G League, dog?
He just got promoted from the G League, Lex. Maybe that's why he's so happy.
No.
See, you're not making this better. Dude, you're not making
that dude should have a problem with the fact that Jordan Hawkins has been on the bench the whole time. They have not sent him down to the G League, and he's a rookie. That's really sad.
I know, but
that should bother him.
Maybe he's thinking they sent him now because they couldn't send both of us, and they sent me first, so I got to get training before you.
DC, what are you talking about?
What?
I'm just grasping, right? You reaching for straws on that,
you
bro.
You should have just said that in your Stan Van Gundy voice, and it would have.
Don't you dare do it.
Everything
Don't you dare do it. But 69%. Oh my God!
He went to draft. I was shaking like a leaf. You remember that, Q?
Yes, he did say that too. He's not kidding. He said that he was shaking like a leaf. He wanted nothing to do with the draft prospect in the octopus.
At that moment, I was like, man, we gotta get another head coach.
We got to get him out of here. Dude is traumatized for real. He was shaking like a leaf. He didn't want to have nothing to do with the process. He said this. He admitted
he really said that.
He really said that. We covered it and put it on the show. And now we sitting up there, oh my God, this is going to be bad. And then and that's the
Didn't
code. That's why
didn't play Kyra. That's who I blame for messing up Kyra. It was
that's
Stan Van Gundy.
exactly because he was the redhead stepchild of this whole process because the next coach didn't have a role for him. When the next people came in, they just kind of looked past KLJ, and that's the whole thing. They could
Kyra
never.
actually showed a lot of flashes
He did.
with
Yeah.
Stan Van Gundy, and he got benched for him. So it's like he's confused. Like, oh, what, am I too aggressive? Like, how do I?
Yeah, that did happen.
Just messed him up.
Yeah, that's true because he would attempt to score. He would take shots, and sometimes he would hit them. Sometimes he wouldn't. And Stan Van Gundy didn't appreciate that. He set him down, so he kind of dialed it
Hustle
back.
at him and sit him on the bench and
Yep.
hide him behind Eric Bledsoe.
Yep, for real. And then when he got, and then recently, and then you got to look at it. A guy with that amount of speed, and he doesn't shoot the 3-pointer that bad. He's extremely quick. Now, of course, we have to work on his strength and all that because he's kind of smallish and that. But in terms of his speed, you can't teach speed. He has that ability. He will attack the basket when his mind is right, and when he gets to the basket, he does hit his free throws too once fouled. So he has a lot of pluses to his game. It's just he won't reach his maturation with the Pelicans because they don't have a role for him. I just don't like what they did when they drafted him. Van Gundy's only first round draft pick, his single year here was KLJ, and he never had a role for him. He never asked for him. And that was a pick that the brass made that wasn't in connection to the coach, and then nobody else could figure a way how to just bring him into the system. Now we got Dyson Daniels here. Now that we got Jordan Hawkins here, he's a first round draft pick that sooner or later that's going to leave out just like a Jackson Hayes, just like a NAW. He's going to be on that trajectory headed somewhere else, and perhaps somebody going to use him if they believe that they can use him. So, I mean, it won't be us. It won't be us. So, anyway, 69% is what your Pelicans shot tonight from the foul line. They were 20 of 29. Like I said, you lost by 2. 16 turnovers on the night. 58-46 was the points in the paint for the Pels against the Rockets, and 11-0 advantage Houston Rockets in fast break points. Speaking to Lexxah's point about pace, Pelicans had zero fast break points tonight. Zero.
They had 11.
And they had 11. Zero fast break points. That is ridiculous. But, it is what it is. And of course, from the individual standpoint, Zion, 28 points in 34 minutes, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. He had a block in the game. That's where he finished up. He was a miserable 5 of 10 from the foul line, that's not acceptable. We often talk about him getting hacked. He got hacked in the game, but they gave him 10 attempts tonight in the Smoothie King Center, and he came up with half of them. Half of them. That's unacceptable, no matter how you look at it. 19 points for BI in 36 minutes of action. He was 7 of 9 from the foul line. He was 0 of 2 from downtown, 6 of 12 from the field. 5 assists, 3 rebounds. And then, of course, there was nobody else outside of Trey Murphy off the bench with 34 minutes who put 14.6 boards up in his time frame. CJ McCollum in 34 minutes finished with 13 points, 5 boards, and a couple of assists. He was 4 of 10 from the field. He was 2 of 7 from downtown. 2 of 7, 13 points. Val, man, couldn't get it going. He finished with a double-double, but he fouled out of the game. 10 points, 11 boards, 5 assists, 2 steals, and a block. He had 6 turnovers to go along with his 6 fouls. He got fouled out right there, and then Sangoon just took him apart. Herb, I don't know, 6 points tonight. Not a really great game from Herb. Herb did what he could do defensively, offensively. 6 points from him, 3 boards in 18 minutes of action. And then outside of those guys, you see Jose Alvarado, just 4 points in 10 minutes. He was 0 for 2 from downtown, 6 points for Najee Marshall and 2 rebounds. And Robinson Earl. Uncle Robinson Earl got in there, had 4 points in 22 minutes, played a lot of minutes because Valanciunas was, like I said, he was in foul trouble for the night. He finished with 4 points and 3 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 assists as he tried to battle undersized Robinson against Sangoon, who just Emi Udoka just seen that and said, let's eat. 37 points for Sangoon in 38 minutes. He finished with 11 boards and 6 assists against the Pelicans. 26 from Smith, who did his thing. Outside of that, that's all they needed was between those two guys, offensively speaking, to kind of push past the Pels. And the Pels didn't really do themselves no service, like I said, about missing those stupid foul shots. 20 of 29 for 69%. In your own building, that is not going to cut it. We have to play better than that. So anyway, then I turn it over to you guys, DC. You heard what I said, bro. We talked about this, man. Let's throw your last points on it before, and Lexxah can reply after you, and then we'll move into the preview matchup of Tuesday against the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yeah, man. Lex talked about it in our opening commentary, and I was thinking the same thing, as well as something my man Jay Black said. The turnovers late, and just getting away from Zion, especially late, man. I've seen so many times Zion had his guys sealed, and it's just like they couldn't get him the ball. I was like, damn, maybe we do need a point guard. You know what I'm saying? It's like you have obviously tremendously talented players, but you just can't put them in a position to get easy buckets. Like this game, we got no easy scores. So much so to where, as you said in the team statistics, we had no fast break points. I mean, we had none. So I mean, like, y'all never got on a run and had any fast break points. Okay, Houston has a pretty good defense. I'll give them that. But they're so good that you couldn't get any fast break points. None. Nah, man. Guys tonight, they weren't prepared. They weren't motivated. They weren't focused. Whatever you want to call it, man. Even Big V. Big V had 6 turnovers, man. That's crazy. That's a lot for him. CJ, he really didn't show up either. At least he didn't get the shot chucking, so gotta give him some credit for that. 2 assists, he's not giving you much as a point guard. He does have his traditional steal in the block. I do like to see that. Sometimes he's better defensively than I thought he would be. But it was just a very, very frustrating game watching it, man. Zion had the ultimate chance to, have a pretty dominant performance. Could have been a 35-point game for him, 40-point game. It's just so many times there's just these lulls. They never were able to stop him, and we just would stop going to him for whatever reason. I don't get it. He would get the ball, and basically that's the only way he would score like that. Like nobody else set him up with anything to make it easy for him to score. And as you can see, he was putting in some effort on defense as well. He got 2 steals and a block. And the thing, like I said, just seeing that shoe, man, that's gonna haunt me. Every time I think of Zion until he replaces this image in my mind, seeing him have 2 turnovers down the stretch late, and then after one of his turnovers, his shoe comes off, and instead of trying to cover or get back on the play, man, to stop them from scoring, he walks over and picks up his shoe and puts his shoe on with 40 seconds left. It's just crazy, man. That right there is more than any stat I could look at or point out from the individual players, or the team statistics, man. That right there, in the totality of everything, is like, yep, that's pretty much why we lost. Just a lack of mental toughness, as you said, effort, energy, want to, passion, and compassion for your other teammates, mindfulness. You know what I'm saying?
Passion.
And nobody was joyous when
Joy
they called
to
that
the
time
world.
out. It was not joyous.
I just got
Seeing Zion get his
You
shoe.
know what?
I just have one question. What other words on the opposite side of the damn building?
You always say that, Big Q. Y'all need to go to the practice facility and look on the other side.
I can take a guess
we
at one of them.
probably understand and know what is on the other side. But
I
you
know one
what?
word that's on the other side.
What is it, DC? And say it in the Stan voice.
Love. Love is definitely on the other side of one of them goddamn.
No, it can't be. You got compassion on one side. That's the big question I have, because it's a conspiracy, because they just show you that one wall. I want to know what's on the other side of that damn wall. That's what I want. I'm gonna go down there and look. Right.
Slithering away.
If they do, I want my damn money. I'll be stealing my damn word without giving me some of it. Anyway, here we go, fam. Let's listen to Zion Williamson after the game. And then, Lex, you can feel free to chime in and give me your thoughts after that. Here we go.
Okay.
Was just the message from Willie about execution in the fourth quarter.
Did you watch the game? Then it's not hard. Turnovers. We got to execute, and we can't have those turnovers. I think we had 3 late in the game. It's gonna be hard to win like that. We can't do that.
Yeah, the Rockets came in tonight, ranked second in defense. Just overall, what makes them, I guess, a good defensive team?
Their consistency with it. They do it the whole game. They don't pick and choose which quarters. They do it the whole game. And, I mean, they live and dying with that. So it worked for them.
Zion, could you tell us what exactly happened on that last play where, shoot came off your foot inside the last minute?
I feel like Dylan Brooks is guarding me. And he, pressed up, more so on my left. So I had the clean drive to the right. We're just going to finish over top. As soon as I took that jab and went to step forward, came out of my shoe. So I tried to make the quick pass to JRE and turned it over.
And what did Houston particularly do to it looked like they really slowed down BI, Trey, CJ, right? All your perimeter guys.
I think it's just the way they guard. They're very good based off the scouting report. They're very good at not allowing teams to really get in the paint and also contesting threes. So they kind of play a cat and mouse game with being in the paint while sticking close to shooters. So they're very good at it.
And how hard was it to see JV lead with his 6th foul out for Sengun, I think, at 37 points tonight?
I mean, it's tough. I know it's frustrating to be in foul trouble. But Shagun played a great game. I mean, played a really great game. Got our bigs in foul trouble. Hats off to him. He played a really great game.
Ryan, another slow start to the game, another slow start at the halftime continuously. How can you guys kind of rectify it at some point?
Continuing working on getting better with it and watching film and just being disciplined and being sharp when we come out of halftime and when we start games.
Coach Green kind of came in and said that they being Houston seems like they're a little tougher than you guys are right now. Just kind of hearing that as a player, how does that change your approach and mindset moving forward?
They definitely play more physical than us tonight. They do it in a very collective way where I think when we are physical, we try to do it individually. But any great defensive player that play physical, when I talk to them, they say if the whole team do it, the ref ain't gonna call the foul on everybody. So, like I said, they collectively do it consistently. So, tonight they were a tougher team. Problems. You guys enjoy your holidays.
All right. There goes Zion Williamson, man. All right, Lexxah. You heard with Zion. Let's kind of put the cap on this one here, man. Before we head on into the preview, feel free to chime in.
I have to address something. I was reading the chat in the family.
DC.
504 Doc and my man Damien actually have a problem with me saying Najee. His tattoo is I guess a enforcer. Najee with the black enforcers. Well, I hear what y'all saying, and shit ain't sweet on the West Bank, nowhere in the city. But who else we got? What you want to call it?
Hold on, what's that got to do with anything?
Well,
We were
they
talking
was
about
dropping
that
some stuff
earlier,
in the chat saying,
and they were
I
commenting.
think Najee is an enforcer. I would think that because
Well, he is for this team, but it's like it's not enough.
I'm trying to find it. Some of the stuff's kind of funny though.
So he said he must be from the West Bank. Is that what somebody said?
They say because I'm from the West Bank, so I think Najee is an enforcer. I wouldn't say that because I'm from the West Bank.
I thought somebody said you was eating never
Look,
mind.
you say I'm from the islands. They say I'm from the West.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't
Somebody
know what
right.
y'all talking about, man. That guy from a lot farther south than that, man. So anyway, go ahead, Lex.
Yeah, I mean, what I got out of it is really, actually, I think it was kind of interesting on how Zion said it, is that Houston was collectively, they were more physical and they were more tougher as a team. And whereas with the Pales, it's more individual. I think that's the one thing that stuck out to me the most. That, and I actually agree with him. Like a lot of things with the Pales, it does get kind of individualized, and there's factions sometimes as far as out there on the court. Like it's like, okay, is everyone involved or is it just a few people? Like what else is going on? Um, but yeah, Houston, their togetherness as far as working together as a unit to win games, it was nice. And plus, one thing that I do have to say is that if it's not broke, don't fix it. And Ime, like that's one thing. It's like, shoot, they stuck with the same plan all night. We did not have an answer. Obviously, um, Cody Zeller, he would have been the next guy to come off the bench to guard Shingun, but they kept at it and stayed with it because it was working. And they came out with the win. Obviously they play defense as a unit, and they're physical as a unit. And I mean that makes a huge difference when you are more of a unit, more of a team, more together compared to a team that is kind of in factions or individual. So I agree with him right there. That's something that this team has to get better with, is being a team like all the time, and not breaking it up and going off into just different directions. So that's the big takeaway I got from it.
All right, DC, you want to add something before we move on to the Memphis Grizzlies preview?
Nah, go to Memphis.
All right. So the next thing up, fam, we got Memphis up next, and guess what? Don't look too fast because Memphis has won 3 straight games since beating the Pelicans. Since Jordan been back, they done won 3 in a row. So this is one that is going to be very interesting heading into it. The Pelicans have an opportunity to get some revenge on this team coming up on Tuesday. I want to say the matchup is going to be so. We know this squad all too well. You talk about Ja, you talk about Desmond Bain, you talk about these other guys that's involved. Grizzlies are playing pretty good. They got a spark. Like I said, they're on a winning streak. If you pull up some of the statistics from the Grizzlies, man, and I got them on the screen for the family members, stuff's kind of deceiving right now because we know Ja just got back there. But this is going to be a interesting matchup. This is kind of one of those revenge games that you kind of look at. So, okay, they beat us the way they did it. We got to get them back. I don't think it's as desperate as we got to teach the Lakers something when we see them toward the end of the year. But definitely we got to take down the Grizzlies after what happened a couple of games ago. So let's peer into this one. DC starting. Well, Lex, you want to get it going? Either one of you guys, whoever, feel free to step in here and just kind of talk about what we need to do to handle business against the Grizzlies.
First off, if Josh start going off, we need to double team him. Can we start with that?
We sure can.
I agree with that.
So I think our defensive game plan needs to change if Ja gets hot. That would be first off. But we were doing what we needed to do to beat the Memphis Grizzlies in that game, man. We accumulated a 24-point lead. So obviously using Big V, which as I stated, the other night on the show, we should definitely feed Big V early, man. I think he is something or someone that we can use as a calming presence to kind of get everything settled and run things through him to start games. You know, this Memphis game where we should have won, he had a pretty good game. And I don't think we should deviate from that game plan to utilize him. Obviously, you got Zion back. They don't really have an answer for Zion. Jared Jackson Jr. Obviously can pose some of a threat, but with everybody else out there, I don't think they should be able to stifle Zion. So I think that adds something else to the mix. So we definitely can't go out and have a whole hum performance like we did tonight, man. So I mean, at some point, we gotta have some pride, man. And I like, how bad do you want it? Do we want to be a team that's on a seesaw, just up and down all season, or do you want to separate yourselves from some of the other teams that'll be at the bottom, or is everybody just gonna be in this hodgepodge, man, just up and down? The Pels definitely need to grasp the concept really quick of who they're going to be. Everybody knowing their roles and how guys are going to be utilized. I think that'll make things a lot simpler, and we won't run into a situation like what we saw tonight. It's just weird, man. Real, everybody's chemistry was kind of off. They were trying to share the ball, but at the same time couldn't really get no assists. You know, we need to get back to what we do. Turning defense to offense should always be a staple. That's the identity of who the Pels are. And outside of that, man, Bi and Zion definitely need to have the ball in their hands and utilize each other more. I think a lot of that's on the coaching staff. But to beat Memphis, all we gotta go out there and do is play Pels ball. Turn defense to offense the same way we did in that first half. And then the second half, when they make adjustments, and obviously what we're doing not working, we need to adjust with them. You can't let Ja kill you. That's the one thing with Memphis. Like, you got to force the other guys to beat you, and if that happens, like, you live with it. So Ja can't come in here and expect to go off again. If they let that happen, then I don't think we win this game.
Yep. And by the way, before you get going, Lex, Marcus Smart reports are saying he could be playing in this matchup on Tuesday against the Pels, just to let you know. Go ahead, Lex, you got it.
We definitely need to, number one thing, just play with a lot of energy. And also along the lines of what you said, DC, if Ja gets hot, double him immediately, not wait until the last minute to do that. Yeah, the way the Memphis defends, they seem like they really have a blueprint on how to defend the Pels. I feel like after seeing, just obviously a lot of teams defend the Pels pretty good, but I feel like Memphis is one of the best teams that defends this team very well. We really gotta we gotta get these guys back, man. I mean, this, being laid back and, approaching this just like another game. We got to stop doing that. We really need to like play these teams, like go to a whole nother level as a team, not just some guys or a specific guy, but the whole team needs to play at a whole nother level. And we know that they have it, but they're not used to playing at that level, which is really sad, because a lot of times the level that in which we play at is kind of mediocre, it's kind of average, going through the motions. It seems like, we're going out the team is going out of their way to play with a whole lot more energy. That's why it's not first nature for them to play with a lot of energy. Henceforth, I'm always saying, hey, we got to play with energy. But definitely gotta play with energy, man. Like Ja's presence has made the world of a difference for this team. Like he's giving them confidence now. He's making this team believe now. And I mean, if they keep going on like this, I mean, they showed the percentages in which Memphis, or the chances that they have to make it into the playoffs. It would be so awful if this team just passes right up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because really, I feel like I look at our record, I'm like, man, we're way better than this record, but the team is not showing that. And here you have them adding Ja back, and he's given the team, the city, a whole lot of energy and hope, just the fact that he's back. So they're on cloud nine right now. Their energy is up there. It's up there. Like, and they're winning. They're on a 3-game winning streak. So they're feeling it. They're really feeling it. They're like on a high right now. And, that's already it was already hard enough to beat them without that. But now that they have that energy boost, that confidence, that makes a huge difference. These cats believe now. So we're gonna be going. What it's at their spot, right?
No, it's actually in the Smoothie King Center.
Oh, it is. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well, shoot, they still got a boatload of confidence. They
do. Yep.
Yeah, they got a whole lot of energy. They're pumped on a three-game winning streak. Now, it would be nice if the fact that it's a home game. Hey, man, y'all need to send a message to them. Now, this ain't about to be the same outcome as it was the last game. Last game, it was a fluke. Obviously, Ja got a lot of calls, but y'all gonna have to come out and get this win, man. Make good decisions. Don't fold under pressure. Go to the strengths of this team. You know what I'm saying? And then I really do feel like Willie Green, he needs to pull out of his bag some creative plays. Like, because this team, the Memphis Grizzlies, they know the Pelicans very well. They know us. You kind of need to do some different things. You know what I'm saying? Keep them guessing because, they know the Pels too well, man. And I think that I'm looking at how they defend and how they play the Pels. I feel like the Memphis has figured something out. They definitely figured something out. So it's like, y'all got to come with something because we know they know that they can beat the Pels. Just got to come with it, man. Figure it out.
Memphis definitely figured something out, Lex. They figured out how to put the ball in Ja Morant's hand and get the hell out of the way. It's really that simple.
It was really that simple, bro.
And we need to figure that out too. That's the Memphis we playing, and not the one that's been on tape all year. This ain't the Memphis you've been watching all year no more when he come back. So hopefully the Pels can do that and adjust. But what you had to say?
No, I was just saying, well, one thing is that they immediately gave the ball to Ja. You know what I'm saying? And I think one thing I will say, because I know you mentioned, they were struggling on getting the ball to Zion, and you were thinking that, like, man, we need a point guard. But one thing I will say is that they kept getting the ball to one person, whereas we have many people handling the rock. And I'm starting to think, because I don't feel like there's not a lot of teams that have a traditional point guard. those days you're starting to see dwindle down. Henceforth, obviously you got, Doncic. He's not the traditional point guard, or obviously LeBron, or a lot of the guards that you see, they're more like shooting guards, and every now and then they pass. But I think sometimes I feel like that's kind of an Achilles heel to have different guys handling the rock. And I think some teams have kind of figured out how to, really break that up, because when different guys handle the rock, it's a different movement. It's a different flow. But when you have one guy doing it, it's like, hey, I don't know. I think it's easier for the team to get into that flow, whereas for the defense, it can make it difficult because they, especially with shifty guards, they're not predictable. You can't really predict what they're going to do. But I don't know. In a weird sense, I just feel like sometimes that can be an Achilles heel for us. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, we got to get this win, man. I mean, I don't know if we will, because like I said, Memphis is on a high right now, man. Their energy is boosted because they've been losing since, before Ja, they were losing. They weren't doing well. And now there's a change in the locker room, change in as far as their confidence, changing how they're playing. It's like, oh yeah, everything's back to normal. I mean, Ja's throwing lobs, and you know what I'm saying? It's like everything is easy for them now. It's not hard for them. So, and everything is still hard for the Pels. Oh, goodness gracious. All right, I'm finished. Hello?
This is the first of this matchup against Houston tonight was the first of a 5-game homestand by the Pelicans. So, I think I got the schedule on the screen right now. Memphis Tuesday, Thursday, Utah. LA is the one we got circled to pay them back. It's the Sunday, December the 31st. Then the first game of the new year will be on January the 2nd, Tuesday, against the Brooklyn Nets. So, and that's the first of a back-to-back contest, and then they travel to Minnesota to take on them, then come back home for LA. Then they go like 5 or 6 games on the road. Sacramento, Golden State, Denver, Dallas, all that kind of stuff. So for right now, we got 4 games remaining. Homestand for the Pelicans to make a stand. It'll be pretty cool. Memphis is not going to be easy. Utah, never easy. LA, got to pay them back. In Brooklyn, they're dealing with some stuff. We can't overlook anybody. So, DC, you want to add, bro, to anything before we skedaddle?
Nah, I'm pretty much all tapped out between last night and today. Pels major disappointment. So I'm looking forward towards Tuesday to see what they'll do against the Memphis Grizzlies, because we can't keep going losing games that we should win, man. To me, against top tier opponents, don't expect them to win every game, but it's how you lose. So that's one thing for me, and the other thing is just losing games that you're easily supposed to win, man. Like, good teams don't do that.
That's true. And I got a question for the fam before we get ready to leave. Gulf Coast Squadron, thank you for the super chat, says, if this is not a championship team, what the goal is?
Well, hopefully the goal is to be a playoff contender, but right now they're not there yet. And I think it's safe to say that everybody's tired of this team being a borderline playing team. I'm not even feeling that. But I've been asking that question too. What type of team is this? Like, where's, need to decide what type of team you want to be. and they're indecisive right now. Guess we'll have to see. It's a long season.
DC,
Yeah. If it's not a championship team, the goal would be establishing an identity and seeing what you would do moving forward. Like what needs to be changed for them to be a championship team, because at this point this year, if they don't show like a major, I guess, sign or some flashes of, okay, this will be a championship team in the future, this is right now, or whatever, they're gonna have to change some things. And I'm not talking just, not re-signing JV. So you would have to look at the core of the team. So if it's not, then you kind of would be trying to establish what you would need to do or what move you would need to make to allow the team to be a championship team. Because we all know they want a new arena, right? The easiest way to get that is to win the title. So I think that's definitely on the Pels' mind. I don't think they want to sit by and not try to push that. But you are dealing with an organization that's never reached those heights, and they putting all their faith and trust in Mr. Octopus because he did it one time with Cleveland when he had LeBron, who we all know, But he does get some credit for that. So the main thing still, if you're not winning a championship this year, you can't contend for one this year. You need to be trying to figure out what's your next step to contend for one. That's the only goal they could possibly have.
Yeah.
I do want to point out, like, one thing that Houston did as far as with their changes, and I really feel like this makes a huge difference because you can also see the same thing with the Indiana Pacers. But they went out and got some champions, proven champions. They got one in Van Vliet, and they got one in Jeff Green, who just won with the Nuggets. I think that makes a huge difference. If we're able to get some vets that have been to the top, have won it all, you know what I'm saying, that know how to do it. I think having that voice in the locker room and on the court, preferably, I think that would be a really great thing to have. And I said the Pacers because they have Bruce Brown, and they're playing a whole lot better. I mean, obviously, Halliburton is really elevated his game, but it still makes a difference to have a proven champion on your squad. And I know, like, we added, CJ, to the team, like, obviously, and that's fine. But man, I would love to see, picking up, just adding a champion, someone who's won a championship, and added to this roster, because I think, just their presence and their voice, and like, hey, I know, like, winning a championship changes something in you. And so to bring that energy, to bring that mindset, to bring that vibe, that does something. Because you definitely see it with Houston. They're a totally different team than they were last season. Totally different. It's not just Ime Udoka. Ime Udoka is still a coach, but you still have to have pieces out there that understand and know how to win. And he has that in Van Vliet, and he has that in Jeff Green. And that makes a difference. So it would be nice for the Pels to get that, if possible, down the road, or maybe trade deadline or something. I don't know. But at some point in time, if we're really serious about trying to be a true contender, trying to really go far in the playoffs, trying to get to that championship level, we're going to need that in that locker room. We're going to need that out there on the court.
Well
That's
said.
all.
Well said, Lex. Shout out to Mary Kay. Makes a great point. Our starters are traditionally built, so you need a traditional point guard. It's something we talked about on the show all the time about the Pelicans needing I guess a point guard to set the table for everybody. We see how the Pelicans operate, where basically it's a point guard by committee approach, where this particular player handles the ball, then this guy handles the ball, then this other guy handles the ball, and of course we don't have a true point guard, and I guess one that you would put on top of the team. I mean, you look at a guy that I guess the closest we got to a point guard, and I guess it's up for discussion, this would be a Dyson Daniels type. His defense is off the chain, but his offense is not quite there, and his facilitation abilities is okay, but once again, he's still a young player, and you have guys like a CJ McCollum, you're playing like $30+ million a season. So, I mean, they kind of moving around it, you know what I mean? And we've pinpointed that, and we've talked about that before on the team on this show. Also, to make note of the commentary about the NBA. The NBA is headed toward expanding once it gets this contract out of the way. They want to expand, and that's stuff that I was seeing and researching and finding about because it was still on the table. That what delayed a lot of it was, as what they were saying, was the stuff that happened with the pandemic, all that kind of stuff. So they kind of worked that out. They've been building up the extra market because the other team is obviously the Sonics. They had the arena issue. The Sonics did fix that issue up there. They retained the name. They let Clay Bennett move. He moved the team to OKC. They, the story behind that, but they kept the name Sonics there, the Sonic there, and they will be granted a team. Matter of fact, I remember hearing unofficially they promised the Sonics that unofficially, but they had to get the arena together, which is the key. They renovated the key. I think the Storm plays out of it. The WNBA team plays out of that key arena, a refurbished arena. They just did a bunch of work and spent some money refurbishing it, and that satisfied the league. The other team is going to be in Las Vegas. Silva has been doing a lot of work there. Stern would probably be rolling over in his grave right now because he wanted nothing to do with Las Vegas. But his guy, Silva, wants everything to do with Las Vegas, and that's the movement. They got the Raiders there. They got the T-Mobile Arena built there, and eventually they will be granted a team in Las Vegas. And don't be surprised if they're going to definitely realign the league, and don't be surprised if the Pelicans end up in the East. So, I mean, they bring in two West teams, Sonics and the Sonic and the whatever the Los Angeles team or Las Vegas team, rather, is going to be. That will be West teams, and they will reformat everything. And don't be surprised if Memphis and the Pelicans end up in the Eastern Conference. A lot of stuff that can happen in a couple of years from now whenever they decide to make that move. So they got this big deal coming up from the television-wise they're supposed to be working on, and after that clears, they said that'll be the next move. So however long that takes, we just have to watch and see. So I just wanted to drop that on the family members. Anyway, with that being said, we'll get ready to the Las Vegas Pelicans. All right. All right. So with that being said, we'll get ready to get up out of here. Listen, I appreciate everybody for chiming in on this episode of the Pelican Postgame Report. I appreciate you kindly. Please feel free to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and by all means, feel free to share the show on your social media feed. PPR is in this thing representing the flocking nation, man. We fell short 106 to 104. We will return on Tuesday afternoon to recap the matchup. So much love to you guys. Y'all hit the like button, hit the share button. We're going to holler at y'all on the flip side. Much
Happy
love.
holidays, everybody.
Shout
Have
out.
a safe Christmas.
Shout out to the fam, man, as well. And y'all check out Lex's playlist, man. Lex, drop that link for the song, put in the chat. Y'all get that song and move it around, man. We're trying to blow that song up. Lex is super talented. I'm pretty sure she got some more work for you too. With some more jams coming out, man. I said jams, man. More hits coming. Don't worry about it, Lex. Just forget that.
Okay.
Hits. All right.
That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps the platform continue to grow. Check out the Pro Shop and Who That Too.
TheWhoThatDaily.com. That's right, TheWhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoThatDaily.com is your site. TheWhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us. HomeBistro.com. Freshly prepared, home delivered, restaurant quality gourmet meals delivered straight to your home. Choose from over 50 plus gourmet meal options cooked by world class chefs and delivered frozen, ready to eat within minutes and no commitment.